Assalamu alaikum. I am Luqman Qaida and this is 𝐂𝐸𝐬 Academy. In today's episode, inshallah, we will discuss the letter 𝐬 or 𝐬. It has the two names, so stay tuned.
𝐂𝐸𝐬 Academy.
This is just to remind you that we are explaining from Al-Minhaj book, the 𝐂𝐸𝐬 Academy book. So, in the last episodes, we discussed from letter Alif until letter Ra. So, our discussion today, inshallah, about letter 𝐬 or 𝐬. It has two names, 𝐬 or 𝐬. Okay, so as always, our discussion includes 4 points. What is the point of articulation and how to pronounce it? It's so different. The point of articulation, the organ that's used, how to pronounce it, how to use that organ to pronounce this letter. Then the second point, whether this letter is heavy letter or light one. The third point, the counterpart of this letter in English. And the last point, what are the common mistakes when pronounce this letter. So let's now discuss the first point, which is what is the point of articulation of letter 𝐬 or letter 𝐬 and how to pronounce it. So as we said in the last episode, the golden rule to know the point of articulation of any letter, we will put it in the state of a sukun, okay, and put hamza before it, hamza with fatha, okay, as this is, when you do that, you will know the point of articulation of this letter. So I will say now and try to figure out the point of articulation of this letter. As. The tip of the tongue, the point of articulation is the tongue. Okay, the point of articulation is the tongue. And as we know, here is the mouth, here is the tongue, here is the 3 parts we discussed in each episode. The top, bottom, which is nearest to the mouth, and the middle and the back part, which is nearest to the throat. Okay, so the tip of the tongue, we will use the tip of the tongue. Okay, we will use the tip of the tongue, and the tip of the tongue will touches the edge. Tip of the tongue will touch the edge of will touch the edge of front to lower incisors. The edge of front to lower incisors. This part. The edge of front to lower incisors. So the tip of the tongue will touch the edge of 2 lower incisors, and then the sound will passes between the upper and lower incisors. Complicated? No at all. Let's say it again. Now the tip of the tongue, okay, which is this part, will touch the edge of lower 2 incisors. Lower 2 incisors, front to lower incisors, and then the sound passes between upper and lower front incisors. As the sound passes between upper and lower front incisors. So as okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ إلى آخر الآية. So زُيِّنَ ذو زين. Okay. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say الزاني الزانية والزاني فاجلدوا كل واحد منهما 100 جلدة. الزانية والزاني فاجلدوا كل واحد منهما 100 جلدة. Also Allah says زعم الذين كفروا أن لن يبعثوا. زعم الذين كفروا أن لن يبعثوا. So this is the point of articulation of letter Z or Zay and how we pronounce it. The tip of the tongue touch the edge of front to lower incisors. زعم الذين كفروا ألا يبعثوا. Okay, this is the first point, the discussion of the first point. So let's move to the next question, which is whether letter Z or Zay is a heavy or a light letter. Okay, letter Zay or Zay, we said that when the back of the tongue is raised, the letter will be heavy. When the back of the tongue is not raised, the letter will be light. So as z. You feel that the back of the tongue is raised or not? Z. Say it and try to tell me the back of the tongue is raised or not. Z. Actually, the back of the tongue is not raised, because if the back of the tongue is raised, the sound will be like this. Za. Okay, it will be heavy. But because the back of the tongue is not raised, the sound is light. So when I ask you, tell me the back of the tongue is raised or not, don't tell me I don't see my back of the tongue. Okay, but if you feel that the sound is heavy, the back of the tongue is raised. If you feel the back of, if you feel that the sound is light, the back of the tongue is not raised. Okay, and after that you can feel that your back of the tongue is raised or not. Okay, after practicing more and more. So the answer of this question, whether this letter is heavy or light, this letter is a light letter because the back of the tongue is not raised. Okay, so let's move to the next question, which is what is the counterpart of this letter in English? It's so clear. Z. This sound is the sound of letter Z, of letter Z. Okay, this is so clear. So the sound of letter Z looks like the sound of letter Z in English. Okay, like for example zeb, okay, or zoo or zebra, whatever Z. So the counterpart of letter Z or Zay in Arabic is letter Z in English. Okay, so let's move to the next point, which is what are the common mistakes when pronounce letter Zay or Zay? Fortunately, there is no common mistakes when pronouncing letter Zay. It might be individual mistakes, like pronounce Zay or Zay, like letter Val. Okay, the letter that we discussed in the episode before the last episode. Okay, so but there is no common mistakes because somehow letter Zay or Zay is an easy letter and it has a counterpart in English, and this letter somehow it's easier for students to pronounce it. So I think this is the end of our discussion today. So if you have any question about letter Z, let me know please in the comments, and inshallah in the next class we will discuss this letter, which is letter Sin. Okay, in the part 12 of the Arabic alphabet letters. So stay tuned. Now we came to the end of this episode. So if you want to follow up the next episodes, consider subscribing. Also, if you want a qualified Quran tutor, whether for yourself or your kids, we are providing online Quran classes. Don't forget to check out our app. See you inshallah in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.
Shaykhi Academy. Learn and enjoy.